What's up, Pirates? Wraith and Jim here with AwakenedTCG, and today we have another video. Subscribe to our channel because we're dropping daily videos. Daily videos, we will not let up. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video.
So today we're actually going to be, this is going to be our first in a series of 6 going over the cards in every single color for the new OP05 set coming out in the East. This video will be red and the Revolutionaries for the most part, which are going to be very strong from the looks of it. Anyways, we're going to do rapid fire here. Let's just get right into it. First card we have here is our first leader of the set. We have Sabo being another black and red leader after Garp. Not a combination that worked out very well in the past. However, the effect is going to be when you attach one Dawn to your leader during your opponent's turn, once per turn, if one of your characters with 5,000 power or higher would be KO'd, you can actually revive that character. No, not revive. They just get minus 1,000 power instead of being KO'd.
Yeah, which honestly seems pretty strong on paper. I mean, we'll see how it actually plays out when, you know, it's on the board and you're playing the leader. But yeah, it seems strong on paper to me.
It's going to be very strong on paper. I mean, not a lot of decks have multiple KO effects per turn. That's a lot of what these cards struggle with. A lot of these 5-drops, they can't last a turn through a jet pistol or whatever else. Sabo will say, no, actually, it is going to survive until next turn and get its guaranteed value. Just a really good leader, in my opinion. I don't know about the colors still, but I think the support is there, and the leader effect is definitely nothing to scoff at. Anyway, next up we'll have our second leader here, being Bello Betty of the Revolutionary Army type. We have a red and yellow leader, the first of its kind. And the text here is going to be activate main once per turn. You can discard one card with the Revolutionary Army characteristic from your hand, and then you can discard one character with Revolutionary Army or trigger from your hand, and then 3 of your characters get 3,000 power. 3 of your Revolutionary characters, sorry, or trigger.
Yeah, it is definitely locked into that Revolutionary Army characteristic, but the effect alone seems overpowered. It seems way too good.
Yeah, discarding one card for 9k power, no Dawn investment, mind you, is
Yeah,
completely insane. I think this leader, along with the cards to go along with it, is probably going to be one of the strongest in the game. We might be looking at our new Zoro right now, so get used to this face.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go over some cards where you're going to see where that 3,000 power comes into play, and it's definitely going to be a top contender in the 05 meta, if I do say so.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Next up here, we have Inazuma. He's going to be a 3-cost, 4,000 power with 1,000 counter. And the text is going to say, if there's a character other than this character whose power is 7,000 or higher, this character gains Rush. So basically, you're always going to have that. This is kind of like a Zoro with counter almost, that you can buff pretty easily in at least Bello Betty decks. I think it's going to be solid. I don't think it's going to be anything too groundbreaking, but having a Rush in these decks is definitely going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, and then again, you just discard one card from hand, and then you're swinging 7k with Rush, so
Exactly.
pretty disgusting. Alone without the effect, I mean, it's just a 3-drop 4,000 power, so not too good, but you definitely want to combo that every time with the effect.
Yeah, I think you play this in Bello Betty, maybe not Sabo.
Yeah, 100%.
Next up here, one of the best cards to come out with this color, in my opinion. It's going to be Ivankov. Cost 4, 5,000 power with 1,000 counter. Activate main once per turn. If this character's power is 7,000 or higher, which is going to be very easy in Bello Betty, make up to one character card from your hand. Oh, sorry. You play a character with 5,000 power or less and the Revolutionary Army type from your hand.
Yeah, so it has the you know, that same effect as the blue Ivankov, but just in red here with a different requirement. But I think that this is gonna make the deck very fast-paced. You know, like you said, this is gonna be the new Zoro leader, and we're kind of seeing why here. And it's like you can get 2 bigger bodies on board, especially going second on turn 2, which is pretty massive.
Oh, this card's gonna be absolutely busted. Yeah, you would have to activate leader effect because there's no way to actually get him up to 7,000 power. Activating Bello Betty Leader effect would be the only way to do that on on your turn 2 with 4 Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you did that, discarding 1 card to get 2 cards on board, I think would just be probably worth it.
Yeah, especially if you have like a dead card in hand.
Yep. And then you could do the same thing next turn, since this is a once per turn. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
This card's going to get a lot of value in these decks.
Yeah.
Next up, probably the most busted card I might have ever seen in this entire card game, next to 10 cost Big Mom.
Yeah, it's the very first card where it minuses the power of a leader, and we've never seen that before. So
yeah,
what are your thoughts on that?
So let's go over the effect for the people that don't know. So this card is Karasu. It's going to be Crow, which is Karasu is Crow in Japanese. And when played, if your leader is Revolutionary Army, one of your opponent's leader or characters gets minus 1,000 power for the turn. When attacking, if this character's power is 7,000 or higher, has the same effect. You can give minus 1,000 to a character or leader for this turn. And that one is not leader locked to a Revolutionary type leader.
Yep, that one is just when attacking.
So this card is going to be probably a meta definer, just because minusing leader power for an entire turn and then swinging with a board, it's going to save 1 Dawn on every single character you're swinging with. And in these decks where you're buffing up these characters very easily, you either go down to no life or you get rid of every resource you have in your hand and board. This card is going to be way too strong, in my opinion. I would not be surprised if it got banned before it even got to English meta, and we don't even have to deal with it. So,
yeah, I mean, and let's not even forget that this card that effect is not unique. So if you have one on board and you attack, that's minus 1,000, and then if there's one in your hand and you play it, that's minus 2,000 on their leader. And I mean, that just sounds like it's not fun.
Play it off Ivankov for free. Attack with it, leader to 3k for the rest of the turn. Sounds nasty. Pretty busted to me. Anyways, let's go quick here to our first SR of red. It's going to be a 2k counter Koala, 2 cost 3,000 power. When played, it's going to give minus 3,000 power to one of your opponent's characters. It's basically 2 cost Otama with obviously minus 3k instead of 2k. Revolutionary Army type, so it's searchable. This is going to be a staple in every Revolutionary deck, no questions asked.
Yeah. This is like what would you say? It's basically Otama, right? Except it gives it the extra 1,000. So, I think.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and I would say this set, the red cards that we're getting, it's like set 3, man. The cards that we're getting for set 5, the red cards they're insane. They're up there with some of the best in the whole set, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, you compare this to Otama. Otama's a 1/0, correct? This is a 2/3 with 2k counter and a better on play effect. You're gonna get value off Bello Betty and be able to swing with it too. This is a fantastic card, 100% getting played 4 of in every one of these decks. Next up, we've got our next SR, Sabo, 6 cost, 7,000 power with no counter, and on play, you can KO up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a combined power of 4,000 or less. So you can KO a 0 power and a 4,000 power, you can KO 2,000 powers, or you can just KO 1 4,000 power and call it a day. And with the minus power effects in red, this is going to hit a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely going to be a hard hitter. It's a lot of Dawn investment just to play the card for 7k power. I mean, you do get a body, but later in the game, if you do have those combos, you can get some pretty big kills, like especially if you run cards like Round Table or something insane like that, because the power has to add up to 4,000. So if you minus somebody's power by 10,000, then you have that 10,000 to play with when you're KOing 2 units. So that is a lot of Dawn investment, but it is a big combo, and I guess we're gonna have to see if the meta plays out in that direction where something like that is possible.
Yeah, I could see this being pretty good. I don't think it's ever going to be a 4 of. We'll see, but I don't think it's bad. It also has the Revolutionary Army type so it's going to be searchable, which always makes cards better.
Yeah, I see this being like a 2 of,
Yeah.
just because it has no counter and it would be a dead card in certain situations.
Sure. Next up here we have Chaka. Gonna be a 5 cost, 6,000 power with 1,000 counter and the Alabasta Kingdom type. Dawn times 1, you can activate main once per turn, and you can add 2 rested Dawns to one of your leader characters. So this is kind of like a 5 cost 1-drop Nami with 2 Dawn instead of 1.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the once per turn makes it pretty good.
Yeah, 5 cost. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's amazing, but I could definitely see a VV deck playing this.
Yeah, yeah.
But not much to say on that one. Next up, we have a 1 cost, 0 power with 2k counter. It's going to be Toto with the Alabasta Kingdom type. And when played, if your leader's power is 0 or less, you draw 1 card. So this is only going to see play in a VV deck. VV, as we know, is already not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And with the condition of your leader's power already has to be 0, so you have to have already used another effect. And it's only draw 1 card for 1. I mean, it's okay.
I mean, if you need to see certain cards or your hand is bad, you could use it to cycle. But overall, having to play a 2k out of your hand just to draw one random card from your deck might not be the best. So this card is definitely not quality like the rest of the cards that are coming out.
True. And at the end of the day, it's a 2k, so that's going to be its saving grace.
Yeah.
Next up, whoopsie, we have Nico Robin.
I love that art. That art.
Amazing art. No comments further. We have the Straw Hat Pirate type with 1 cost, 2,000 power. And it is going to be, when played, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 1,000 power or less. Mm-hmm. I don't know how great this is. If you have a lot of cost reduction effects, I think this could be good. But honestly, otherwise, I'm not really sure if I'm playing this, if I'm playing Sabo or Bilibeti.
Does this have the Revolutionary type?
No, it's just Straw Hat.
Straw Hat, okay.
Just Straw Hat type.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely kind of like the card we just looked at, not the best quality.
Yeah, I don't love it, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, definitely mediocre.
Next up, we have Bartholomew Kuma with the 7 Warlords and Revolutionary Army type. He's going to be a 2 cost, 2,000 power character. And on play, he's going to KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less. That sounds bad, but then you see he has a trigger, which is if your leader is multicolor, you can actually play it for free. So this could be strong. I could see it being strong in Bilibeti. You're activating effect and putting it right up to a 5k. I don't think you're ever going to... I mean, the trigger's not amazing because a 2,000 or less isn't that good. I don't know if you're playing this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like like in our meta right now, this card would be amazing, right? Because of Zoro, Law, but I think in set 5, I think those decks definitely are going to change quite a bit. And so something like this doesn't seem too appealing.
Yeah, Zoro Law, I think, is already going to be falling off by this point. There's so many get rid of 1s and 2s that they're adding. I think those 2 decks are actually just not going to be as good as they are now. And this just adds to that. Next up, we're going to have Hack. He's going to be just a vanilla 3/5 Fishman Revolutionary Army type.
Okay,
so
the next one.
Next
vanilla.
up, just another vanilla Revolutionary Army, your typical 2/2 blocker. Nothing much to say there.
Yep.
Next up, we've got Pell. This card, a little interesting. It's going to be a 3 cost, 4,000 power with the Alabasta Kingdom type. And then if you attach 1 Dawn, which is perfect because you can put it to 5k when it attacks, up to one of your opponent's characters will get minus 2,000 power.
Yeah, another great combo card.
This, I mean, if you're running a lot of KO based on power effects, I think you could run this, but 3/4s are not always the best stat line. It's kind of like I'd rather play Robin over this, right?
Fair.
it's not amazing, but it's also not bad. Like, you can swing into something and minus it by 2k when you swing into it, which sounds like pretty decent, but
It's just like the in between of a Flamenco and a Brook, right? So it's right down the middle to
yeah,
3, and it just gives it's just the Flamenco effect. So
right. Which is, well, I don't really love it because of that, but
yeah.
let's go to our next card. We have our 1-cost Searcher for the Revolutionary Army. It's going to be your typical 1-cost 2000 power with a 1k counter. Look at the top 5 cards. Grab one Revolutionary Army type, reveal it, and put the other 4 to the bottom in any order.
Yep, just a basic searcher, can't grab itself, Revolutionary Army.
Yep, staple,
Standard.
no questions there. Definitely running 4 of that. Now we have Morley, another Revolutionary Army character. He's going to be a 3/5 with no counter, and when attacking, if his power is 7,000 or higher, the opponent cannot activate blocker when he attacks. Also, with the trigger that you can discard 1 card from your hand and play him out if your leader has multicolors.
Yeah, it's a better Luffy. With just 3 Dawn is swinging what it would be a 8k swing.
If you do Bello Betty leader.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
So,
no Dawn investment, just do Bello Betty. This card is swinging for 8k on a 3-cost card, and it can't be blocked.
That's pretty disgusting.
Sounds pretty strong.
Yeah.
And you could play it off trigger. If your opponent is swinging at life and they're low, this could give you a surprise lethal for the next turn.
Yeah, definitely a very strong card, and yeah, I would definitely run 4 of this card in Bello Betty.
Yeah, even though it has no counter, I could see running 4 of these.
Yeah, it's like a Peros Pero, right? You just run 4 just because the trigger's so good.
Exactly. Next up, we'll have Lindbergh. It's going to be another Revolutionary Army type card. 4 cost, 5,000 power with a 1,000 counter. When attacking, if this character's power is 7,000 or higher, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. Also has the same effect as our last card for trigger. You may discard 1 card from your hand. If you have a multicolor leader, you can play it out.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments here. Like, first off, these triggers to play are insane. We've seen it already in, Katakuri, right, in yellow. So it's like Bello Betty getting this and being able to have these other effects is pretty crazy to me. So it's like the consistency is there, and now you're getting also that factor of like, okay, I could take life, boom, maybe I can get a trigger and just put myself so much further ahead.
Exactly. And in a deck that could play red cards with a lot of rush and other stuff like that, getting characters off life for your next turn that are going to be able to swing is going to be really, really scary, while having good effects that are always going to get turned on for no Dawn investment if you have Bello Betty, mind you, because you can get it to 7,000 or more for free. These cards are going to be really good. The small blockers will mean nothing to this deck. You're going to pop it with Sabo, you're going to pop it with this, you're going to avoid it with Morley. This is going to be a very scary deck to play against. Anyways, next up, we'll have our first event of the red cards in this set. It's going to be a 3-cost event with counter. One of your leaders or characters will get 3,000 power for this turn, for this battle. And then you can actually play up to 1 character with the Revolutionary Army type with 5,000 power or less from your hand.
Wow, that is... So I think we've seen a card like this before with green, the 3 cost as well, where you can play a 3 cost or less from your hand with no effect, right? So it's like we have that plus 3,000 counter, and you get to play a card from your hand. I think this is really good because you can play a lot of 4-drops that are in the Revolutionary Army that have 5,000 power.
Oh yeah, this is going to be, I think, a staple. 3,000 is actually a good number. You might think it's like, oh, it's less than 4,000, but mostly people are swinging for 7k. So this is going to counter out of that perfectly, while giving you a 5k on board, which sounds actually really strong.
And then the trigger, you just play 1 from your hand. So
Oh yes.
On top of that,
I didn't even mention
it has the trigger. Yeah.
Disgusting card. Probably a 4 of, just also to increase your chances of trigger. But another card that's just getting characters out on your opponent's turn for your big swings coming at them next turn.
Yeah, definitely disgusting.
Staple in these decks. We've got Fire Fist number 2 coming out of Sabo. It's going to be a 2-cost activate main. Power minus 4,000 to up to one of your opponent's characters during this turn, and then after that you can KO up to one of your opponent's characters with power 0 or less. So this is an interesting card. It basically reads KO 4,000 or less, or if they say have like a 0-cost card that, sorry, 0 power card that you want to get rid of, you can actually minus 4k something you want to attack into and then KO the 0 power card at the same time. It's flexible in that aspect. Also, it has trigger. You can activate the main effect on their turn, which seems pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think it's just like knowing what red has already, there's so much combo potential. And so if you're at 2 or less life, this is just such a stronger jet pistol, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's half the price of jet pistol to KO something only 2,000 power less.
Yeah.
And it's also flexible in the aspect that you don't have to use it just to KO. You can just use it for the minus power effect for one of your swing, or use one of your pop effects to do with power, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty good card. I don't know if this will be a 4 of. We'll see how it turns out, but definitely a good card. Not a bad card by any means. Next up, we'll have 4,000 Tiles Seiken. Don't know if that's the exact translation, but let's read the effect. 2 Dawn main will have power 2,000 to up to one of your leader or up to one of your characters for this turn. And then after that, you can KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less. It has the trigger up to power 1,000 for one of your leader or characters for this turn. Similar to guard point or things of the type. But it's going to pay for itself, right? Because you're paying 2 to give plus 2k, which is the same as attaching 2 Dawn. So it instantly pays for itself and then KOs at 2,000 or less for free.
The only issue for me here is, like, I mean, why run this when you can just run something like Red Hawk, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
But I guess because it is on main phase, which I guess is not like Red Hawk because that's a counter. And so since this is main phase, you can combo it off with, like, oh, you know, these 5,000 cost or 5,000 power units need to have 7,000 because that is a sweet spot.
Sure. Using
a card like this can, you know, combo into stuff.
I think it's interesting. If I'm going in the next set, I'm not playing this card.
Yeah.
To be honest,
so either,
but
yeah.
Let's go into our last red card of the video. It is going to be a Revolutionary Army Headquarters. It's going to be a stage for red, which you never see, but this might be the first time red decks are playing stages. So this card is going to read Activate Main. You can discard 1 card from your hand and arrest the stage. Then search the top 3 cards, and you can reveal up to 1 Revolutionary Army type card and add it to your hand, put the rest at the bottom. So very similar to Impel Down in the Magellan decks, which I'd say it's like 50-50 whether people like running it.
Yeah, but I think most lists that have actually done pretty well don't run it just because it, like, takes up 4 spots or however many spots, and it's like not always guaranteed that you get it. And I think the worst part about it is just you do have to trash a card from hand.
Sure. You trash before you draw, which kind of sucks. It would be better if you could draw and then trash because you know what you're dealing with. But I think that would be a little too strong. But the good thing about this, in a Bello Betty at least, is her leader effect, you can trash Revolutionary. Oh, is it only character card though?
It says, no, it just says reveal up to 1 card with that characteristic.
No, I'm saying, is it... Because you have to discard a Revolutionary Army type character or trigger character from hand, or is it just Revolutionary type card? Because if it was Revolutionary type card, discarding this for free when you already have one on board would be very strong.
Yeah, no, it just, I mean, the translation just says you can discard 1 card from hand. I don't think it specifies any kind of card.
Okay, I may be wrong, and I'll probably add it after the video, but if it is just Revolutionary type card, I could see this being a 4 of just because you can get rid of it out of hand so easy. Anyway, that is going to be our last red card of the video. So overall, these red cards for OP05 I think are going to be really strong, especially in Bello Betty. I don't know much about Sabo. We'll see where those decks end up going. But for the most part, these cards are very strong. And I think they're going to be our new aggro contender for the OP05 meta.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I agree. I think this deck is gonna have some pretty crazy rush capabilities, especially with all those triggers, being able to add characters onto your board so quickly through triggers, through spells, through events. And so I definitely think that it's going to be one of the best rush decks in O5, and I'm going to have to give these red cards 4.5 out of 5 in my opinion for overall strength. I haven't seen the rest of the colors, but when we get to them this might change. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and rate these cards 4.5 out of 5.
I think I agree with that. They're pretty much strong all over the board. I think we only really went through a few cards really quick because they weren't very strong.
Yeah, like a couple of vanillas and like 2 or 3 other cards, right? So
and most of the ones we went through like that weren't even revolutionary type, so this archetype is definitely going to be very strong.
thank you guys so much if you stuck until the end. We're uploading daily videos, so I hope you guys continue to watch us. We've been appreciating all the support, and we thank you guys for watching all of our videos. And to everybody subscribing, make sure to sub to us, like this video, and comment down below what your favorite red card was. Anyways, Wraith and Jim here with AwakenedTCG signing off. We'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a wonderful day. Peace.